It was a sense of, I think, fear around potentially losing trades, losing money, and even though the account is it massive and you're not trading more than 1%, which is a really good thing, it still is your own real money. And within myself, I want to do really well at what I'm doing. So obviously, doing backtesting, getting the seal, that's a kind of move forward. You've shown us that the criteria, you've got that. We're saying yes, you can go ahead, but still, that it's like, oh gosh, I really can. And so plus then you're trying to learn a new strategy, which you're just backtesting. So your kind of mindset is split, because the backtesting, it doesn't feel quite as weighty as when you are actually live trading. Yeah. So I don't think my first pullback one that I put on was a winner. But I think I then did go on to have a couple of wins after that.
Good.
Which just helping you get into your groove a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of helping grease those wheels of, okay, this is working.
Yeah.
So how did that first few months of live trading? Obviously, we then get our next seal of approval. Yeah. We then trade a second strategy live. We then get the third seal of approval. We then trade that strategy live.
Yeah.
How was that kind of slightly longer live trading process? Yeah. Did you make any mistakes? Did anything come up that surprised you, that came up on an emotional level or mindset level? How did kind of all that go?
Yeah. So I think as the strategies were kind of the seal I got for the reversal, which I really liked reversals. I know people have these love-hate relationships with certain ones, don't they? So I really loved that one, jumping into that one, got that one quite quickly. And then live trading that. I think my mistake just for me was that I added to my account, which is fine, but I added quite a large chunk in, and that really did skew my mindset. And so, yes, I kind of jumped, and I jumped too far. So, and my husband saw the account and said, "What have you done with that money?" And I was like, "I've just put it in." He's like, "Have you?" And but
forgiveness, not
absolutely. And I said, "Do you think I should take it?" And he's like, "No, you've put it in there now. Just leave it." But that was for me. That was too much, and that really did just send me in a little bit of a spin. So I had to talk to myself. I think I spoke to Josh as well, and just spoke to him and just kind of chatted that out, where that was coming from, to kind of sort of say, look, do put a bit in, but maybe that's too much. So what about this? Do you think you'd be able to handle that kind of increment? And then you could double check that again in like 4 to 6 months, whether you want to up that again. So that kind of really helped me just kind of settle again. And I'd probably say I was more cautious with my percentages of what I then put on the different trades to counteract that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But also in my coaching sessions, it was like 1% is the maximum. You don't need to be trading up to that if you don't feel comfortable, because you need to be feeling that you could lose that money as well as gain that money. And that was really helpful for me to think about what I was putting on with the different strategies, definitely. And then starting a bit of the day trading with other ones that I was doing as well.
Yeah, it can be a really good process to increase your account. Oh, did you hear all my bones to 2S?
Yeah.
I'll start that again. So it can be a really good process to put more money into your account, but not increase the actual cash risk that you're using. Mm-hmm. So you start with the same risk that you were using, but you now get used to seeing that figure in your account, and then you gradually increase the cash risk up until the point where you're at a maximum of 1%. Right. Can be a really good way. I did the same when I first started out. I jumped too big too quickly. Had a bit of a mindset moment, messed things up for a month or so. I actually dropped that down though, because I didn't realize, I could just use a different cash didn't think about it back then. So then I incrementally built up again from there. So I think that's quite a normal part of people's learning experience when they first start out. It'd be live trading. So brilliant.
Yeah.
How's it go for you now then?
Yeah, I think I've continued being quite cautious with my percentages, especially thinking about with the day trading as well, and adding that in. That's just another element of something different, and time sensitivities with that, and getting to grips with that. But again, really good coaching around maybe smaller percentages, like 1/4% to 1/3% on those, and actually realize that if you have a number of wins on that over the month, that's going to compound and then add to your par, which obviously the main meat is the swing trades, but then there's these other, and that's been really helpful. So I would put more of a percentage on my swing trades because that's the main ones, and then a slightly smaller for my day trades because that will incremental up because obviously you're going to place more trades with that.
Yeah.
So I think overall, like last month was my best month so far, which was 3%, which I was really happy with. And I think the other months it had been between 0.5 and 1, but I'd kind of, with the kind of having slightly lesser amounts on, but obviously there has been losses as well, but just seeing that I haven't actually had a negative month. It's just been like 0.5 or 1 or 0.8, but just sticking there. And then last month was 3, which I'm really pleased about.
Especially if you are using lower risk.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for everyone to know that you can take this at your own pace.
Yeah.
And so we know what's possible. But if the way you build confidence is going to take a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, I'm not saying you're taking longer, everyone's got a different journey. But again, that's why comparison just isn't helpful, because you'll still get to where you want to get to. You're still making very, very healthy returns if we compare it to any other form of investment.
Yeah.
And we're actually being a lower risk than our 1%.
Yeah.
So I think that's phenomenal, Rosie.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased. And I think for me, one of the really big changes is the mindset stuff that we do with Jay once a month. I can't shout about that enough, because I think now being in the live trading sort of more for sort of 3 months, doing all of them, just seeing, obviously learning the trading is really, really important. But actually I'd say it's probably 50-50 that if you don't have that mindset, it doesn't matter what I've learned, unless I can work on that mindset and be in a really good emotional state, that's not going to stack up, that I'm going to be making good choices or be making risks that I don't need to take. Yeah. And so for me, I'm finding that working on that mindset is really helping across the board with everything of how I see things.
Amazing.
So I can feel that within myself. And obviously I have my moments, and I've chatted to Josh and gone, and he's like, it's okay, let's calm down. What was going on? What else was external, internal? Okay, shake it off. We go again, close that down. Now you've learnt from that, you go forward. And all of those kind of things do just really help.
Yeah.
Rather than wallowing in something, because I need to be able to move on.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful.
I think you're doing brilliantly. You're in the first few months of trading and you're profitable and you're doing 3% a month, which most people are doing in a year in a savings account. And this is a skill you'll have for life.